Hi everybody, this is Cindy. Let me know if you can hear me or see the screen. And I'll wait a second for everyone to get on. Okay. Okay. I know some people are just joining the group. Okay. Say hello if you can see me or hear me. Lee, can you hear me?
I'm not on there yet. I'm looking. Teach photography, right?
Mm-hmm. It's private. So I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I sent you a request to join the group.
Okay. Okay, I see. Okay, I see I'm live. Okay, so there we go. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you, Andy. Okay, great. And A. Nelson, great. Okay, thank you so much. And you can, okay, see and hear. Okay, so it looks like there's about 17 people online. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. There was some technical difficulties with Facebook. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and I thank everyone for joining and for posting their comments in the group and introducing themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. For those that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I'm the creator of Magazine Mama and Shutter Teachers. I like to help photographers grow their business with marketing materials and materials to teach photography classes during the slow seasons and to help them just grow their income through creative ways like this. And so this workshop today, I wanted to share some things to help you all get started teaching photography classes, because especially now, it's around the holidays. It's a really good time to start generating some more income for the holidays, especially now during the pandemic season. A lot of you have had to shut down your businesses temporarily. So I know supplementing your income is really important right now. So I wanted to help everyone get started with that. So in this workshop, I'm going to talk about some benefits of teaching photography online, some common mistakes people make and how to avoid them, how to make sure your class is engaging and unique for your students, some tools and platforms you need to get started, and we're going to talk a little bit about pricing. And then a lot of you have posted questions in the group, so I'm going to address those inside this workshop as well. So if you have any questions along the way, just post them in the group or post them in the comments, and I'll try to check the comments as I go along to answer them. What was it that you need?
You're not in full screen. You've got all this.
Yeah, okay, so why teach online? The flexibility for the instructor. You can teach from anywhere and at any time. That's a really great thing about online now. And online classes are super popular right now. They're really taking off because of the pandemic largely. And then a lot of people staying home, having to work from home, have turned to working online. Even the students have to take classes online. So people are getting more used to that right now. There's a lot of flexibility for your students. They can learn from home or watch the recordings on their own schedule, so it's flexible for their schedule. And then you can teach and record your class once and have your students sign up and watch it again and again, and you can, kind of wash, rinse, and repeat with this system of teaching online, and it can be something that can generate income for you, like for many years down the road. It's a low-cost alternative to teaching traditional classes. in person because you save on renting location space, you save on traveling to the location, having printed materials. Because we used to teach in-person classes and we'd have to rent out a specific studio for the classes, and it was kind of stressful because you had to make sure everything is there and ready. And if you're traveling, it was about an hour away, and then you run into traffic. So definitely teaching online is a lot easier. It helps you establish yourself as an expert in your niche and in your industry. So people know you really know a lot about photography because you're teaching it. And so when they need a photographer, you're going to be the first one that comes to their mind. You'll be top of mind. And of course, as we talked about, the additional income stream that you can generate from this is definitely a benefit. Two more things. It helps you learn about your audience. You get to know them better and interact with them, and it builds that know, like, and trust factor with your potential clients. So you can use this information and use this as a marketing strategy to indirectly get more clients. I know when we taught classes in person, especially, people would come to the classes just to get to know us, and then we got some bookings from that, like weddings and even events. So all around, it's a really great thing to do. So how will teaching photography benefit your business? Go ahead and post in the comments and let me know if you've thought about how it's going to benefit your business. Like maybe it is the extra income, or getting clients, or just having fun, getting out there and sharing what you love with others. So go ahead and post that in the comments and let me know what you think. Okay. See if there's any comments here. Okay. So I'll wait for people to post that, and then I'm going to go ahead and start on some of the questions that were posted in the group. First of all, I want to teach photography online, but I don't know where to start. So some things that you need to get started is, let's see here. Okay, so comments are coming in. So Nikki says, I've recently moved to a new area, state, and I think it would benefit greatly in getting my name out there as a new local photographer. That's definitely true. That's a great one. Tracy says she wants to supplement income and getting new clients. Also, teaching solidifies my own knowledge even further. That's an excellent point. When you teach something, you have to really know it. So I like that. Thank you, Tracy. Michelle says another avenue to make money and break up the schedule of portraits and photo booths. That's definitely a good idea. And filling in during the slow seasons. That's very good too, because that's what we did. Like for weddings here in Arizona, it's during the summertime, it's really hot and there's not a lot of weddings, so that's kind of the time that we chose to teach our classes to supplement our incomes. Another thing is that when you do teach classes and you supplement your income, you're not relying entirely on your photography business. So you're able to be more picky and choosy about who you choose to take on as clients. And you can also start charging more for your photography because you're not solely relying on every person who walks in the door for your photography service. Let's see, Megan says to have freedom of schedule, to stay home, to make some money, and continue teaching. Yes, freedom of schedule is a great one. Thank you, Megan. Beverly says some winter work while I'm not in my studio. That's great. Thank you. William says getting new clients, spreading my know-how, starting a photography community in Germany. That is really great. And yes, for community also. So many people love being part of community, and especially now since they can't be part of physical community in a lot of places, so they search for online communities to be a part of. And, a shared hobby, having a community around that is a great thing. And then Megan says all of the above. So great. Thank you guys so much for posting that. I appreciate that. So let's go back to what you need to get started. First of all, you need to decide who you will teach. You need to find your ideal student. Just like you would find an ideal client for your photography business, you'll also have an ideal student. Then you'll need to make an outline of what you will teach. You'll need to get clarity on your class format. You'll need to learn a few facilitation skills. You want to make out a list of your expenses and goals to help you determine your pricing. And then you'll want to find a system of getting new students. And we're going to talk about all this. So first of all, narrowing it down to your ideal student. Like I said, just like in photography, you need to choose an ideal student and pick what type of photography class you'd like to teach. So if any of you, if you already know what type of photography class you'd like to teach, go ahead and post that in the comments as well. I'm interested to know. Then you'll want to create an outline for your course. And for those of you who don't know, we have some already made curriculum for teaching basic digital photography. We also have one for smartphone photography. So that's a great place to start because that'll save you a lot of time. And then you can tweak them and customize them according to like what your students are and what you want to teach. So that's one thing you can do to save time and get started quickly. Then you want to decide on the format, whether you will teach live online classes or pre-recorded classes or a mix of both. So let's talk about the benefits of having recorded classes. One of them is that it will help save you time. Like I said, you have your recorded classes and you can put them up on a platform for your students and you can sell them over and over again. You can have some of the recordings on preview for students to get a taste of the class before they purchase. So some of the platforms that we'll talk about later on have options for you to set one of your videos on preview. So, you know, people like to try before they buy so they can see a quick preview of the video, and if they're interested in it, then they can go ahead and purchase. You can also use one of the videos from your pre-recorded class in your marketing. For example, you could use it as a lead magnet to grow your email list. And then you can also reach students in other time zones when you have that pre-recorded lesson for those who can't make it to the live video. For example, right now, this video is live, but I know there's some people in other time zones that mentioned it's going to be like 3 o'clock in the morning their time, so they can't really tune in. So I'm going to leave this recording up a little bit later for those who want to watch it later who are not able to attend. Some benefits of live video, on the other hand, are increased engagement with students. Like right now, like I'm able to talk to you guys, you're able to respond in real time, and that's a really great benefit. And so speaking of that, I'm going to go back to the comments again. I know I asked what kind of photography you want to teach. Nikki says she's thinking of moms, kids, and any seniors who would be interested since she now lives where there's a larger senior community. That's great because I know seniors are a good market to target because a lot of them have trouble, especially like if you're teaching phone photography. I know even my mom has a hard time even dealing with the phone and stuff, so that's a great one. Michelle says, I teach basic digital photography and smartphone photography. My clients range in age from preteen to older adults. Thank you, Michelle. And Lisa says, I'd love to teach students who are new to photography. I feel like students don't have enough to really understand how much enjoyment can come from photography. So that's great. You want to teach them just, you know, how to have fun with photography and how much joy it can bring. That's excellent. And then William says it's 8 p.m. there. Yes. Wow. Yeah, that's it. Definitely. I wonder if the time zone, if it's 8 p.m., like some countries I know, like a day ahead of us, like Japan. So yeah, so those are some ideas of who you can teach and what you want to teach. Thank you for posting. So, and then William says he wants to teach basic photography for kids. Kids are a lot of fun to teach for sure. And I know a lot of people might be nervous to teach adults. And so kids are kind of easier to teach because a lot of kids can be not as judging as adults, and you might feel nervous to teach your peers. So kids are a great place to start. Okay, so back to the live video, the benefits of online classes, live online classes, is you can always turn the live videos into recorded videos. And then it helps give you helpful information. For example, you can analyze the data on your live video and see where the drop-offs are, where people become disengaged, and where people are more engaged with you. So you can kind of do that while you watch it in real time, and see how many people are live watching. And then some platforms have where you can really analyze that data, and then so you can see what's of interest to your student and when they drop off. Now, speaking about platforms that you will use to teach, there are a lot of platforms right now out there, and it can get really confusing. I've kind of posted some that I'm a little bit familiar with, because there's so many that I'm not familiar with, and I don't want to talk about those. But there's Teachable, there's Podia. I've used Teachable before. I use Podia right now. There's also Kajabi, and there's also Facebook. Another one I didn't put on there that I should have is Zoom. A lot of people like to use Zoom because you can have like groups, you can interact with people, you can bring them on live, and you can send them into separate groups after your main session. So I know Teachable and Kajabi are kind of expensive. Podia, there's a fee for that as well. What I like about Podia is that they also have an email system that comes with it, and you can also offer subscriptions. And I'll talk about that later on, about maybe having a subscription for your photography classes, or maybe you might want to have a community around it, and it can help you to earn recurring revenue. And what I like most about Podia is their customer service. They are really great, and that's something that's super important when you're learning a new platform, is that you have someone there to help you with the platform. So you can just ask them a question anytime, and within 24 hours they will answer your question. And I got started with them early on, and got to know the owners a little bit, and they're very nice people. And that's something important to me when I choose a platform is, if the owners are really nice people, if they have a customer service team that will help you, because a lot of times you're struggling and you really need answers to something quick, and they definitely respond quickly to your comments. So that's one I would recommend. I encourage you to check out each of them. And then there's also Facebook. You could do something similar to what we're doing right now. Someone asked, what is the most economical way to set it up if you're not ready to invest in Teachable or other platforms? And that would be, like I mentioned, like Facebook right now. Let's see, I have some questions here. Let's see here. So, okay. Yeah, okay. So Beverly says she wants to teach flower photography with printed backgrounds. That is great. Andy says there's OutSchool. His girlfriend really likes it. Yes, there is OutSchool. OutSchool is another platform, and some photographers have told me they use that. So definitely check that out. It's a lot geared towards kids, as far as I understand and what I've learned about it. And I think you might have to pay them a percentage of whatever classes you sell on there. But definitely that's one resource to check out. Megan says, I used your online bundle to create a class that I taught over the summer for the Boys and Girls Club, and I loved it. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I was used to teaching STEM and math and language arts, 21st CCLC. One of the kids in my class even entered a photo she took in our local library photo contest and won. Wow, I want to refine my class and offer it again. That is great. Yeah, and definitely that's something, if your kids enter a contest and they won, definitely use that in your marketing to say, your students have won awards. So that's really neat. And then Andy says, what are the pros and cons of each platform? So yeah, like I mentioned a little bit, Andy, like the Teachable, and it's been a while since I've used Teachable, and they've made changes a lot. So I'll have to go back and study that a little bit more. But I think a big thing is the pricing to start out with. I know Kajabi, I think they increased their price. It's kind of expensive. What you want to look for is not only pricing, but like I said, the customer service, and also their sales page, like the formats that they offer. One thing about Podia, I will say, is I'm not really impressed with their sales pages. There's not a lot of customization for the sales page. I believe Teachable and Kajabi have more options for customizing that sales page. But what I would say is that I wouldn't worry too much about that, because you can always create a sales page in another platform, such as Lead Pages, or even on a WordPress website, or even whatever site you're using for your photography business. You can just create a page, and you can even post it on your blog about your class. So at this point, I wouldn't be too concerned about the customizations for your sales page, but if you get a further advance in it later down the road, that might be something to consider. But those are some of the cons, like of Podia. For Facebook, obviously it's Facebook is on its own platform. Some of the pros for teaching on Facebook would be it's very economical, so you don't have to pay for the platform. You can set up a private Facebook group and have people send you payments via PayPal or Venmo or some other Cash App. You can use a free version of StreamYard to go live in the group. Or you can just go live like I'm going live now, so you don't even need an app for that. But I always recommend that you take the profit and eventually invest in a platform for your online classes, because like everybody says with Facebook's always changing, and like at any time they could shut down your group, or they could shut down your page, or I've had people get their accounts banned for I don't know, whatever reason. Sometimes it's even silly reasons, but if if they shut down your group, then there goes all your videos that you house there and your students and everything. So it's good to use Facebook to a certain point for your online classes, but for the long term, I don't recommend it. I think you need to have a platform that's dedicated to online classes. And then something I just discovered yesterday, I kind of played around with it a little bit, is on your Facebook page, there's a place where you can create an event, and it allows you to even create a paid event. I haven't tried that yet, but it's definitely worth giving it a try, and maybe do a test run, and maybe create a little mini paid class and see how that goes. Okay, so let me lose that here. Let's see the questions. Okay, and Monica says, I have a large market of people who want me to teach them. I've been afraid to simply do a class. I bought your programs and I needed this workshop to stop my procrastination. That's great. Yeah, that's what I was hoping. That I know a lot of people have bought the curriculums and maybe have not started teaching them with them yet. So I kind of wanted to do this to help guide you a little more and help get you encouraged to get started on this. So I believe this question was from William. How can I stand out from others who are teaching and make the classes interesting so students will want to sign up? Okay, so there are several things you can do to make your class interesting, and it's definitely a great question. And he also said that he wants to make it so interesting that pricing isn't really a factor. And what you can do is customize your class and niche it to the students you will teach. So like we have our basic photography curriculum, and we also have one that's for moms, and we kind of, it's basically teaching the same things such as basic photography, only we've kind of tweaked the design to be more for moms, made it pink. And you could also niche it down and say, call your class basic photography for busy moms, or maybe for working moms, or moms of teens. That way, when people see your class, like the moms, they say, oh, I'm a mom of a teen. This class is geared specifically for me. And think about it. How many classes do you know that are basic photography for moms of teens? The more specific you niche it, the more unique it'll be, and the more it will speak to your ideal client or your ideal student. And at the same time, as you niche it down, you're going to have a smaller audience, obviously, because moms is a really broad moms is a really broad group, and then moms at work kind of is more narrow, and then moms of teens gets more narrow. So you're going to have a smaller niche of students that you're appealing to, but at the same time, you may be able to charge higher prices for your class because it is so targeted and it is so unique. And then you can do things like basic photography for kids, and that would be kind of a broad one. And then for homeschool kids, that's even more specific. I wrote down there photography for hairstylists because I have had photographers buy our curriculum, specifically the smartphone photography curriculum, and say that they had success in teaching to hairstylists, because think about this, a lot of hairstylists need photos of the hair for their social media accounts. So that's another one that's really niched down, really specific, right? And so when you do that, you can charge higher prices. Also, keep this in mind. Speaking of hairstylists, when you target to other businesses, they're going to see this as a business expense. It can be a tax write-off for them. So they're going to probably be more likely to be able to pay higher prices than just a mom would be. That moms might be on budgets, especially homeschool moms might be on budgets. So if you can kind of tweak your class and niche it for businesses, maybe you could do personal branding, like photography for personal brands or for influencers on Instagram. Think about that kind of thing outside the box. How are you going to kind of spin or tweak your class? Okay, so let me see the questions. Nikki mentioned, what about Google Classroom? And yes, that's a good one to use as well. I haven't used it specifically, but I know some photographers who have said they used our curriculum on Google Classroom. Okay, and Andy's asking if the slides will be available later in the group as a link or in a file section, please. I will consider that, and I will try to get these for you. So another way you can do is to niche your class by the topic that you'll teach. For example, maybe you're teaching food photography, and I know someone here in the group said they want to teach newborn photography. Think about a special system that you may have created for taking photos. Maybe call it your signature system, but name it uniquely so that the name is unique and it will stand out. Because I know a lot of you in this group, I believe, have been photographers for a long time, and maybe there's a special, even a special editing process that you do to edit your photos, something that's unique. Maybe it's how you take your photos. I know I've talked with several different photographers who have different systems that they use or different specialties of photography that they have created. And so if you can niche it by that, it's going to be more unique and it's definitely going to stand out, and you'll be able to charge higher prices for it. Another thing you can do to make it interesting is to create a course around what your ideal students want to learn. So survey what your potential students want to know and find out specifically what that is and create the course around it. It's kind of similar how I did this video. So I posted here in the group, I asked you guys, what do you want to learn about teaching photography? And I took your questions and I weaved them into this workshop. So think about doing something like that. Create a Facebook group and say, hey, what do you want to learn about photography specifically? And then you'll have that class specifically geared toward their interest. And then when you go to do the marketing for it, when you do your sales page and tell everything about the class that you're going to be covering, it's going to speak directly to them, and they'll say, hey, this class is definitely for me. It's exactly what I want to know. You can also survey your students via SurveyMonkey. That's a really good app to use to get surveys. And then lastly, to make your class unique and stand out is to engage and build relationships with your audience and your clients online. Think about it. There's only one you. You are unique. And even though everybody might be teaching photography classes basic DSLR photography classes, no one is going to teach it and present it the way you are because no one is like you. It's kind of similar to how when people hire you for photography, like there's a bunch of wedding photographers in our area, and sometimes the wedding photography can start to look all the same. But the reason that people hire you, like for us, the reason someone would come and meet with me and hire me as their wedding photographer is because I connected with them, I resonated with them, and they wanted me to be at their wedding. So it's kind of similar in courses. You take classes from people who you resonate with, who you feel you can identify with, and sometimes who are very similar to you. So it's important that you engage online, build relationships, and this can be through social media, through sharing personal stories on Instagram or through your email. Just start to kind of build relationships with people, and then the more they get to know you, whenever it comes time for you to offer your class, they're going to want to sign up for it. Okay, and so someone else has asked a question about taxes and accounting. Is it a class I teach personally or through the business? Whoops. And the answer to that is any income from your classes will count as income for your business. So you need to check with your tax account for more specifics on that and more details. Okay, so any other questions right now before we move on about teaching? About how much you should charge for your classes. Post in the comments if you have any other questions. So, charging for your classes. Has anybody taught classes, first of all? Say yes in the comments if you have. And how much are you charging for the classes? How much have you charged if you've taught a class? So post that in the comments and I'll check those. So think about this. When you're teaching an online class, you don't have a lot of overhead, so you can easily make a profit from it. Some photographers I've talked to are charging anywhere from $25 to $197 per student, depending on what they offer and depending on if it's at the beginning of the class. I know one photographer I talked to when we first launched our online kids curriculum. She charged $25 per student, I believe, just because it was her first time, and this is when the pandemic first hit, and she knew a lot of people didn't have a lot of money. So anyway, she charged $25, and I believe she had 10 students within the first day. So think about that. That's $250 within 24 hours, and I mean, that's pretty good if you're just going to teach a class online and if it's something that you can use over and over again to make income. You can charge even more for private one-on-one students. So think about mentoring. Maybe some high school students want mentored, or maybe some photographers want mentored. Think about that as well. To get your first students, offer a lower price. For example, I said that one photographer who charged $25. You might even say you're offering $100 off for the first 5 or 10 students, and then let everybody know that your prices will be going up the next round. So that creates some kind of urgency, and it motivates them to sign up for your class. You could also offer them, say, a special pricing, call it a beta class, and then in exchange for getting reviews for your class, because reviews are something that are really important and you're going to want to have them for your marketing. Okay, so let's see. So Danielle says she charges $50 for her class. And Danielle, thank you. Is that an online class or is that an in-person class? Michelle says she teaches private lessons for $125 an hour, and group classes are $25 a student. She also volunteers at the high school and teaches the photography club and yearbook team. That's great. Yes, we've taught private lessons as well, and I think that was about the price we charged, about $125 an hour. And it was really neat because we taught in studio, and private classes are a lot of fun because you can customize them. You can do basically anything with them. We also and this was before the pandemic, where we went to someone's house and we taught her how to edit the photos and organize her photos on the computer, and just basic things that are difficult for people to know. But you can still do that online as well, because some of these platforms, when you teach online, you're allowed to share your screen. So you can definitely teach a one-on-one class like through Zoom, and you can share your screen and you can have them give access to their screen, and you can walk them through different things with their editing. Let's see. How long should a class last? Is it better to do self-paced or have a set schedule? We'll talk about that in just a bit as well. Let's see, is it possible to sell the class printed like a handout? In Europe, most of the time the VAT is so much lower, so you keep more profit. You could create a printed handout of the class, but I haven't seen that at all. That would be more like an ebook. And the classes, like our curriculum, is not available for resale. But if you wanted to create something on your own, I think that would more be classified as an ebook rather than a class. A class would be where you would have some kind of component where you're actually teaching. You could do something through email, I guess, where you could teach them on email. You could sell them the ebook, and then each day you could teach them within the email. Okay, and Megan says a question on taxes. Is it supposed to be done through the business? Then I can't use Venmo or PayPal for payment. Those are only for friends and family. What other options can I use to accept payment and keep track of expenses? I've used Venmo. I know I've paid for other services with Venmo and PayPal. Yes, I don't think it matters. I don't think there's anything that says you cannot use Venmo or PayPal for payment for your business. It really doesn't matter what you use for your business, because you're getting the income. So it's just a matter of documenting that income when it comes time for taxes. What other options can you use to accept payment and keep track of taxes and keep track of expenses? If you're using an online platform such as Teachable, Kajabi, or Podia, they take payment through PayPal and through Stripe. So PayPal and Venmo are definitely going to be fine as far as I know. Stripe is another one. That's for processing the credit cards. Right, Nikki says Stripe and Square. Yes, Square is the other one I was thinking of. Square is that little device that you add to your cell phone. You can swipe the cards. You can also do it manually online. Michelle says Square or HoneyBook work great for accepting payment. Thank you, Michelle. Yes, HoneyBook is another one. I am not too familiar with them, but definitely check them out. And then Carla says she uses PayPal for business. Yes, PayPal definitely, I'm quite sure that's fine, because even I've had people, I accept payment for photography services on PayPal, so it's definitely fine for that. So back to how much to charge. Consider offering a subscription model for a recurring income. Have them join a monthly group where they pay for your support to answer questions and are part of a community. So this is something, for recurring income. Like I was saying, Podia has a subscription format within their platform, and you can have as many subscription plans as you want to. And it's really great because you can post the videos in there, recorded videos, you can post links, you can post all kinds of things in there. And if you wanted to have a Facebook group, what you would do is when they sign up for the subscription on Podia, you would just have a link to the Facebook group and people would join the group. And then whenever they cancel, you would just delete them out of the group. But this is really good for like after they take your initial class, you could do this as an upsell for those who want to continue and learn more about photography. Say, hey, if you want to take this further, sign up for my monthly subscription, and You can, like, each month or each week, depending on how you want to do it, you could have challenges for them. You could give them tips, and you could go on live once a month and answer any questions. So it's a great way to earn recurring income, and it's great for community, especially for seniors, like for older people who want to be part of a group, a community, and then maybe for kids who want to have their parents want them to be in a class like through the whole year for school. You could do that as well, and you can have the payment options available where they pay per month, they could pay quarterly or annually. Now, how do I get students to the class? Let's see. Well, you're going to start with your current clients or email list. This is the most economical way to do it. Send out an email or post on social media to your current clients or list and ask them if they're interested in your course, or to tag or share the info with anybody else they know that might be interested. And then someone asked about paid ads. Paid ads are a great way to start, especially on Facebook and Instagram, because you can target people specifically based on their interests to ensure that you're reaching your ideal student. But the thing about Facebook ads is that they are expensive. So if you're doing those ads, what you want to do is start by using the ads to build an email list of people who are likely to buy your course. Then you want to engage with them on email to build rapport. Then offer them your course. You could also invite them to a Facebook group like this one and get to know them so that you can build a course they are interested in. Okay, the next question was, what platforms do I use for funnels and email systems? And this is getting kind of advanced. This could be a whole course in itself that I could teach on this because it is really advanced and strategic. So I try to create just an overview of it. For funnels, a lot of you may know ClickFunnels. It's a platform that is commonly used for funnels that integrates with emails. It's very advanced, and I've used it several times, and me personally, I think it's kind of clunky. What I prefer is to create your own funnels via emails and ads and landing pages. So what you would do for that, so you create your email opt-in page. You can use lead pages for this, or you can even have your own page on your website. And then you would create your course sales page. You could use lead pages for this also. And lead pages, I think, is $37 a month. And I think ClickFunnels is about $97 a month. So you save a lot of money that way. And then you're going to need an email system such as ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign. Those two are really good to go with this kind of a funnel system. And then you've got your Facebook ads. And on your ads, you're going to optimize for leads, do lead generation ads, or you can use the Facebook lead ads where you collect the leads right on Facebook. And that's something I'm going to be looking into more. In the past, I've just done conversion ads, optimizing for their emails. And this might be real advanced for a lot of you, but I did want to cover it briefly because I had some questions on it. So for the funnels, just like I said, a high-level overview, you want to have your ads to your opt-in page where people can opt into your email list, and then they're put into your email flow. Inside the email flow, you send them to your sales page, and then you can send ads to those who signed up for your opt-in, so you'd send them to your course sales page. Then for retargeting, you can retarget those who visited your opt-in page but didn't sign up, so you can try to get them to sign up. And then you can send ads to those who did sign up and didn't purchase your course. Then, of course, you can retarget the ads to those who visited the course page but didn't sign up. So these are just kind of to give you an advanced overview about targeting ads and retargeting. And like I said, I could create a whole course on this, and I might do that later on if I have enough people interested. Just let me know, and I will think about that. So let's see what comments we have here. I've just got a few more things to finish up. Okay, Megan says, you guys are all amazing. Yes, I love all the interaction we're getting through here, and everybody's helping each other, so I appreciate that. So let's just go ahead and talk about a few common mistakes and some presentation tips, and then a few more tools you will need. So first of all, sloppy presentation is a common mistake. Even though you may be teaching from home in your PJs, don't make it appear that way. So this is kind of common sense, I think, but some people I've seen that I'm really surprised they come on with sloppy presentation. And just make sure to try to look your best. Pretend as if you're going to be teaching the class in person. Then technical issues, the last thing you want to have happen is to have technical issues. Online video software can be easy, but don't take it for granted. Be sure to practice before going on, especially if you're teaching live online. And I have a confession, like today the presentation was a little late because we did have technical issues, and a lot of times it might not even be your fault. Like, for example, I couldn't get the StreamYard app to hook up to this group because Facebook was having a glitch. So you want to always have a backup plan, and the backup plan I had was just to go straight live inside the group. So definitely there can be a lot of technical issues. Just practice. And then poor time management. No matter how well you plan things can easily get off schedule. So create a reasonable schedule and stick to it. Plan backup activities if you have extra time, or know areas that you can cut off if you go too long with questions and answers. Do practice run through and time yourself as well. Some tips for presentation: have a question and answer time. Some students may have questions, but they may not want to interrupt the flow of the session to ask the questions. So make sure they know that there'll be an established question time during each session, and make a note to stop and ask if anyone has questions along the way. If you have a Facebook group or a place where they can post their questions, this would be great. Okay. And speaking of questions, let me check the questions again. Nikki says, is it better to teach by video or just audio like you are here today? Yeah, that's a great question. You want to connect, you mean if you want to show your face? Like, normally I would show my face on here. I had some problems with the, like I said, the last minute, the technical issues. I didn't get to set up my lighting properly. So I just went live. I didn't get to use StreamYard either. Usually StreamYard, you can like show your face and then show your presentation, and that's what I was planning to do. But since the StreamYard app didn't work today, I just went live, and I don't believe there's a way for me to show my face and my screen, so that's why I'm just showing the slides today. But if you can show your face, it's so much better. I think it's so much better for engagement and connection with the people because they like to see a face. So definitely do that. I recommend that. That's a great question. Thank you, Nikki. Speaking of interaction, have interaction engagement. Your online course shouldn't be one-sided lecture or presentation. Your students need to be engaged. This makes it more interesting for them as well. And it helps you because you get a lot of feedback. So make sure to give your students plenty to do in the class. Ask them questions along the way. You can have homework and activities. And again, the Facebook group. Facebook groups are great for online courses, and then for the engagement. When students are engaged, they feel more part of the course, and they're more likely to complete the course because they feel like the course is for them specifically. Here's some things for keeping your students engaged. Keep your lessons short. They should be long enough to cover the topic, but not so long that they wear your students out. Work with your students' attention spans. As a general rule, keep the sessions no longer than 45 minutes to 1 hour. If you're teaching kids or busy moms, keep the sessions shorter, like bite-sized videos. Identify a clear goal. Each session should have one clear goal. You may end up covering additional material, but it should be clear from the beginning what students will take away from every session. Like at the beginning of this class, I said, here's what we're going to learn. So they know what they're going to learn in the class, in the specific session when they show up. And the goal may not be what they will learn, but what they will be able to do after the session. So for example, maybe you're saying after this session today, you will be able to take photos on manual mode, or after this session, you will know what ISO is. You will be able to set your proper ISO for your photos. You want to plan activities, give the students a task to complete or an assignment, and then have them do a show and tell for the next session. So give them an assignment, and then in the next session that you have for your class, have them show their photos, like tell them a specific photo assignment to take. Okay, Danielle says her classes are 2 hours. So Danielle, that's fine. 2 hours would be the max. Do you give your students a break in between? Let me know in the comments. Because if you do have 2 hours, maybe give them a break in between. If it's a recording 2 hours long, I would break it up. Okay, so get feedback. Create opportunities for your students to give you feedback throughout the course. This could be taking comments during the session or surveys before, during, or after the course to make sure they are learning. This not only helps you improve, but it makes sure your class is reaching their goals, and it gives the students a feeling that the course belongs to them because they get to give their opinions on the course. Use a mix of media elements. Don't just use text. Use images, videos, and slideshows. Creating a variation will help students get engaged with the materials. And with teaching photography, you could definitely create a slideshow of all your favorite photos and, show them slideshows, show them videos. Just keep the mix in there. And then lastly, keep it fun. The course should be fun and exciting for students to be a part of. Be enthusiastic and let your passion for your topic come through during the lessons. Okay, and Danielle says, no, but I do help them know what kind of equipment they have as well as where to find how to change their settings. So that takes some time. Yes, okay, that's understandable. If you are letting them know about equipment and where to find and change their settings, that is definitely going to take some more time. Okay, and so lastly here, I'm going to go over some tools that you need. Some of these I talked about. Obviously, a laptop or desktop computer. The phone's not ideal, but do keep it on hand for emergency backup. Like, for example, in today's session, I almost had to use my phone if I wasn't able to get this video live on my desktop, but luckily I did, so I could show the slides. Live class platforms, you can use Zoom, StreamYard. Ecamm Live is one I also used to use. You can go live in your Facebook group. Software for editing and recording your video. I have a Mac computer, so I use ScreenFlow for that, and that's a good software to have. For the camera, right now I'm not using the camera, but you will need a high quality webcam. I use Logitech. I've also used my DSLR in the past. If you use a DSLR or a video camera, you're going to need to know that you need a device called Elgato Camlink. So I would write that down because that's what you'll need to get your DSLR and video camera running through live videos. Then you're going to need a microphone. You can use a Snowball mic or a Blue mic. I'm currently using the Blue mic. And then you're going to need the online platforms such as Teachable and Podia, like we already talked about. So I want to thank you all for watching this, and I'll take any more questions right now if you have any more questions. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you've learned something today, let me know in the comments what you've learned. And if you have any other questions. But thank you so much for everybody who is coming on, who has come on today. And I'll wait just a second to see if you have any questions. Because I know there's a little bit of a delay. You're welcome, Nikki. Thank you. I'm glad it was helpful. Casey says, a session lasts 45 to 60 minutes, but how long should a class last? One time a week or 6 weeks? Okay, let's see here. Okay, the comments went really fast. Okay, so the session 45 minutes to 1 hour, but how many weeks? It just depends on the content and how you want to divide it up. I know on our kids class, I think it was 5 to 8 weeks for the in-person class, and the same thing you could do online. Especially the kids classes, you want to have them shorter, so you could do like 30 minutes one time a week. And so, and like the modules too, split up the modules. And like if you have the 3 modules, maybe have 1 module per week. Okay. Okay, William says, great workshop, learned a lot and catched a lot of new ideas. Great, I'm so glad to hear that. Okay, Carla says, very helpful as a starting point to teach. Thank you, great. This was a great guide. Very helpful to learn about what platforms to use. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for watching. Hey, if anybody else has any other questions, I know a lot of questions, the comments went through and they didn't stick on the screen. I'm not able to see them. So please post it again if you ask a question. Can we do it again tomorrow? That's funny. Glad you liked it. Thank you. Okay. Excellent info. Thank you, Casey. Okay. Yeah, I hope you all feel a little bit more confident in going out there and teaching your online class. Danielle, I don't think I saw yours. If you could post it again. Do you suggest continuous or for a set period of time? Yeah, like I said, I would set it up for a set period of time. Like, yes, for like 4 weeks. I wouldn't probably go longer than 8 or 10. If you wanted to offer continuous, that would be on the subscription model. So after the first 4 weeks, let people know if they want to continue on, then they can for a monthly fee. Okay, do you update your phone photography course for the new phones? Yes, we're in the process of updating the phone photography courses. Megan says, thank you. This workshop was such a blessing and I really needed it. I had so many questions and now I have more of an idea of where to do next for this. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you, Megan. You are so welcome. William says he has the idea to work together with a cook for a class in food photography. I think it makes it more interesting and more fun. That is a very creative idea. I like that idea, working with a cook for food photography. Then you can maybe use each other's audiences and collaborate and get even more students. That's excellent. That's unique. Great idea. Thank you for commenting. Will there be any additional sales upcoming on the education templates you have? There may be. So as long as you're on my email list, I will let you know. Any idea when those will be ready? Hopefully in the new year, hoping in January. Okay. Okay. And let me know. I'm curious. You guys that teach, do you teach more with the iPhones or the Android phones? Let me know in the comments. And then William, keep us posted if you do that cooking class with the cook for food photography. I'd love to know how that goes. Okay, you're welcome, Danielle. And any more questions, I'll just wait couple more minutes, or maybe just 1 more minute. Nikki says, I realized you're in Nashville. She just moved to Crossville, Tennessee. Actually, I'm not in Nashville anymore. I'm in Arizona. But I grew up in Nashville and I loved it there. Okay, Shayna says, iPhone. I prefer to teach Android because I'm not an Apple fan, but I teach no matter what phone they have. That's great. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. And I know some people are just now joining, didn't get their member requests in on time. So I will leave this video up a little bit longer through today to give everybody a chance to watch it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to wrap it up. Okay, Casey says I teach general iPhone and Android and look up apps that they can use for both platforms. That's great, yeah. And you teach that class together in one class under smartphone, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close down the video and I will leave it up a little bit longer. Can we still use the group to collaborate and work together even after this workshop is over? I'm going to think about that. I'm thinking about having a teaching photography lab that we can collaborate for every month. So I'll let you guys know since you're on the email list. And Casey says yes. How do we schedule all of the students? Harry, let me know more specifically, what do you mean schedule all of the students? Okay. Casey says, should you max out on a student count to make it easy to manage? Yes, I definitely think you should. You should limit the amount of students. And that also is good for encouraging people to sign up if they know there's a limited amount of sessions. And maybe for an online class, if you're going to be, doing kind of hands-on things online, like showing them their settings and all that, I don't know, maybe 12 to 20 students maximum. And then later, what you could do is you could have all the recordings, and then when you put it on a platform like Teachable, you can do it to an unlimited amount of people, and they can just watch the videos, and then you can come inside the Facebook group and teach whoever needs help at the time. So when you're first starting out, yes, for your first one or two classes, I would limit it. And that could be a selling point too, that you're limiting it, and you can also charge more because it is limited. Okay. And Danielle, how many people do you limit it to? Okay, I see. Harry says, if you have 10 students, how would you suggest scheduling that? Do you just set a time? Who can make it, makes it? Yes. Yes, you can't accommodate everybody's schedule, but what you can do is have people come inside the group and maybe post a couple days and times that you're thinking of doing the class, maybe create a poll and see how many students can make it, like the most amount of students that can make it during that time. See what's good for everybody, and then you'll just have to take the best time that works for the most amount of people and schedule it then. And then of course people can watch the video, the replays, and ask questions. Okay, Megan, I will let you know. Thank you. Okay, Danielle schedules 5 to 10 people per class. She prefers the lower amount online and the bigger amount in person. Yes. Yes, it's definitely easier to have a smaller amount online if you are going to be giving like a lot of attention and answering questions. Especially if you have a Facebook group and you have a ton of people in the group, you might start having a lot of questions, and it's going to take up a lot of time answering the questions in the group. So speaking of that, if you do have a group with a lot of people and you don't want to always be having to answer questions all the time, let people know like a specific day and time that you're going to be available for office hours, for example, and then they would come there and have their questions answered there at that time. That way you don't have a backlog of questions to be answering, because you still have to do your photography, your shoots and everything, and editing as well. So what you want this to do is be something that's easy to manage, and that eventually you can automate it to generate some additional revenue during your slow seasons. But for sure, the more attention you give to the people, you could also do this, like you could have recorded classes that they can watch, and they could have no student interaction from you, and that could be on autopilot to generate income. But then if you have the classes that have more one-on-one time and that require more of your personal time, you can charge more money for those. And you could kind of have that as a bonus for them, a bonus for signing up for the higher paid class. So I have two levels of classes. Okay, so this will be my last call for questions, and then I will shut this video down. And I thank you so much for watching and for the participation. It has been really great. And yeah, let me know if you have any other questions at all later on, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.